Here's what I want to start with. I want to give you a real world example and just kind of walk through a couple of scenarios and really get you thinking today of what this is, that next step, and what it can potentially do for you and your organization and your customers in the very near future. Okay, so let's start with this scenario. I have a salesperson that got a voicemail, right? I get an email that says, here's the new voicemail, and it's in Spanish. I don't know Spanish. So that's a great, opportunity. I might copy the contents of this email and I want to go translate it. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of Martin was showing you in ChatGPT, I'm going to go to another one of the popular engines out there called Claude. And this one's been gaining a lot of momentum lately. But I'm going to walk you through the scenario that I put inside of here. So I pasted the contents of that, the transcription of the voicemail, all in Spanish. But I did something a little bit different at the top. I said, can you translate this, and can you tell me if this customer exists inside of NetSuite? Now, this is where Martin had showed you before. In the system he was in, had no context whatsoever. But this is where the story starts changing with Popdock, is that we can now, after I run that prompt, it not only translates it into English for me, which is now I know what the problem is, but it starts going, yeah, I did find that customer for you inside of your NetSuite system. Here's some information on it. Here, it did a couple of things. It looked in some of the areas around the sales orders, and then went a little bit deeper into the items that were on those sales orders to see if we had something more specific on the products they had bought. And sure enough, it found out that not only was this something that we have this customer, but it also started highlighting that we've had a few other issues around here that that we've had a bunch of people that have bought this, but we actually now can see that there are some problems with this. Okay, so something beyond just pulling the data from there, it's telling all the orders for that bicycle that was identified in the voicemail. But it told me something interesting. It said, I don't have that number in our system. All of our records are for purchasing, right? So it's not like an individual email or individual name. It actually had an email there. And so then you can go and look further into, okay, let's find everything for that particular record instead. Now, the other thing that I love about AI, right, is it might give me some recommendations. So in this case, because of what we had put in our prompt, we said, let's go, why don't you recommend, looking a little deeper, find if we can find that number on a different contact. Maybe they aren't associated with the company, but they've maybe put a message in before in another system or in the help desk system or something like that. And then again, it also, like I said, it's identified some issues with this, and it's telling us maybe we should take some cautionary look into what's going on. So right from here, this is the next step, right? Is not only did I present some data right inside of the AI tool that I'm using in this case, but the next thing I said, well, okay, that's great. Can you actually now create a ticket for me? And you'll see the next thing it did is it passed in the information that I had up above, and then it said, let's create a brand new Zendesk ticket. Here's a subject. Priority has been high because of what we gathered from the context of the voicemail, and then it puts some extra information inside of here. So at the end of that, if we go and look inside of Zendesk, for example, here's our ticket that I created this morning from that process, and we can see here's the original that came in from the translated portion of that. And then it also puts some internal notes telling us that look into this because we potentially have some additional issues with here. Since I'm inside of Zendesk, I want to show one thing, right? This is the help desk system that I have in this case, that where it created the ticket. It could be a different system. It could be Jira. It could be any number of ticketing type systems out there. But what I have embedded over here is Popdock, and I just want to, just to get you thinking, is I could actually do an AI search right inside of here. So I could make Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Mistral, right? Like any of these engines that we have, I can have it start interacting in here, and I can pass in different context. I could say, hey, let's go look through a bunch of other comments and do a deeper dive into what we have. But I just wanted to show you that you can actually embed AI really with Popdock anywhere that we can embed our widgets. So let me take you inside of Popdock now for a second. And on this first screen, I just wanted to show kind of what Martin had said, and a combination of what I just showed. I showed you a widget embedded inside of a help desk system, but I can define what those prompts are. I can define what data to attach to it. I can determine how detailed I want to be in my look at this. And this one happens to be looking, in this case, at some GP data to do a seasonal detection, right? Like, what are we noticing seasonal patterns? And so this is where AI is really good at this type of stuff. But again, the beautiful part is that now we're able to provide the context with data from our company so that it's now meaningful as opposed to just using AI. And that's the part that's really, really powerful. Okay, the last part I really want to highlight inside of here, Martin has mentioned MCP a number of times. This is, again, a powerful tool to start allowing you in a secure, safe way to provide context to your employees, your customers, so they can choose what portions of the data they want to show or make available to their corporate AI subscription. And beyond just, if you look at, most of these are get data, but you'll actually see I have this action, right? This is the action I ran to add a Zendesk ticket. So that's the powerful part, right? Is you can really change it from just looking at data to actually doing something about that data, taking action on it. Let me take you inside of this top one here, the GP one, because I want to show one thing, right? Here's a list of data it's looking at. But what I want to show you is in this response section, I've only made 3 fields available, right? If that's all I need to do the analysis on this, and maybe I don't want to have any type of sensitive information, even potentially leaking, to the AI engine, I can choose exactly what I want. But even further than that, this is what Martin said. How can one tool, how can Popdock lock down this information to the AI? Well, you can see inside of here, I have only made this available to myself and Alicia. So these are the only 2 people that can access this data when they log into the chat solution. So if I don't come back here and show it to you in the real world, I don't think it's real. So if I go inside of inside of Claude, and again, you could do this in ChatGPT, you can do this in Gemini. Some of the other ones are adding MCP servers, they're coming out very, very soon. But I want to show you here is, if I go into this connectors section, like Martin said, you can add 1 million of these MCP servers. So like I said, every company is going to start coming out with a limited set of things. But why limit yourself? Why not use a tool like Popdock to allow all those things to be brought in, and again, do the next things like the actions. And security is a big thing. We've seen some examples where they take that one particular model, and everybody in the company now gets the capability of generating a Zendesk ticket. And so you may not want that to be the case. So I want to show you inside of here. Here are the options that I have made available. So here's the NetSuite stuff, here's Zendesk tickets, here's adding the Zendesk ticket, right? So that's the action, and I had a test action here. But what we don't see, right, I had that GP sales transactions one. I made that inactive, and so that does not show about here because it has not been marked as active. And you see, you can also do this in a different way too, right? You can choose to run this one and always ask for permission, which is what I do for demo purposes usually. But you can, if you again start getting to a point where you're requesting it a lot and you want to allow, access to it, you can basically allow unsupervised and just say, hey, show me this, show me the transactions, show me the tickets, show me the customers, show me whatever, and it just won't even prompt to ask, I guess, for the security access. It will just know that you can do that. So I know I spent a minute on this screen, but I do think it's really important because the secure access to your data is really what brings us all together. Right now, I think what's happening in a lot of organizations, people are dumping stuff to Excel and they are uploading it to their own personal version of whatever tool that they're using. And as Martin said, there are engines that they say they're not using any of that data to train it, but I think in the age of security and when it's your business data that's on the line, I think that's a really, really critical thing to to have as part of that. Okay, I think
that's great, Chris.
Yep.
That's really good. Just to wrap up on AI quickly for everybody, we made promises to you as partners that we're here to support our GP customers for 10 years and way more. This tool enables all of your GP customers to be AI enabled and in the right way to share that data. Not only GP, but if you're a NetSuite partner or an Intact partner or a Business Central partner, the same concepts applied to all of the ERPs. Now, it's not just ERP, it's every other application that a business uses. We are able to expose it, and if there's one that we can't expose yet, let us know and we will add it into our environment so you can do it. And Popdock answers all of the things that you need to have a secure and controlled AI business sharing environment. So we've set you up, we've been innovating hard, we're going to continue to innovate. We are looking for some beta customers right now to test, some beta partners to take your ideas and run you through a lot more detail of what we're offering and how that works. So if you're interested, talk to your partner manager or contact Chris or contact myself or Katie. We would love to chat with you. And my challenge to you is to take your blinkers off and start reimagining the world for your customers in a world of AI. How do you take the power of AI together with your business data to do things that were absolutely impossible last week, absolutely impossible last year? And we're here to help you do it. And I think it's a really exciting time. And I've been in ERP world for 30 years. I think this is the biggest game changer that I've seen in my entire time. So for us older ERP experts, I'm not saying everybody is, but it is a challenge to get your head around what is possible. It is exciting, and I think together we're positioned to take it to our customers. So thank you, Chris. That's a great thing. I'll let you just finish off your last slide, and we'll hand back to Katie.
Yeah, sounds good. I think again, just to inspire you to think about this a bit more. There's a ton of use cases that we have, and I think there's probably 10,000 more that you could look at. I mean, it's all kinds of things from working with your ERP, right? Looking for those anomalies that you might find in your supply chain and your inventory data. It maybe could be fishing for fraud. It could be, a deep analysis of cash flow, but that's just ERP, right? What if you're starting to look at, cleaning up data across systems, the quality of the data that's in there before shipping, making sure that you have the proper addresses, or again, looking at sentiment analysis, but not in just one system, looking at your CRM system, your help desk system, and then maybe looking at social media on the web, right? Those are the kinds of things that you can do to bring this together. I think what we presented today here is this isn't an upgrade, right? This is really a transformation of how you interact as a business with data. And we're moving from just asking what happened, right? That's traditional reporting or asking for data from a list. We're moving from what happened to what should we do next? What is the action? So with this AI portion that we're presenting at Popdock, I think you can see that every employee becomes a data analyst, if you will, and every conversation starts becoming actionable. And every business decision is now made with context for your company and some extra power from AI.